Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. And please let me know where you're coming in from so I can give you a shout out later. If we haven't met yet, I'm Dianne Parnell, and I am your wellness centered life coach. I believe that coaching is more than just affirmations and positivity. It's about looking at the person as a whole. We aren't just our mind or our body or our emotions. And all of those things play a role in how we show up in life and the choices that we make which impact that life. We all know how important it is to eat food on a daily basis, but do we really know how important it is to eat the right foods? When our digestive system doesn't work, it affects our whole body, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So today, I am super excited because I have a special guest that will educate us about how gut health is so important to our whole being. So Melissa Deely hails from Whistler, BC, and is an integrative health practitioner. And she is much more than just a practitioner. She's a wife, a mom, a world traveler, a Girl Guide Scout leader, and an educator. And I was blessed to meet Melissa, I think about a month ago. And I am doing a 21-day detox with her. And so she's going to tell us all about that today. So let's bring her on. So please help me in welcoming Melissa Deely. And here she is. Yay!
Hi.
Hi. Thanks so much, Melissa, for joining me today. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because I was very sick from the time I was 11 years old until I was about 35. I think I was 35 or 39. So and through that whole course, I learned how important it is to feed the gut and heal the gut. And then I got to find you and realized that I still had a lot of work to do. So tell us about that. Fill us in on everything that you do and how you do it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity because it is my mission, my passion, my purpose in life to let people know that they have options in their healing journey, and that with the world being the sickest that it's ever been, with chronic illnesses such as diabetes, heart disease, obesity, Alzheimer's, dementia, leaky gut, autoimmune diseases, all of these are actually starting as a result of the environment we create inside our body.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't pay attention to that because we don't see it. And also because through public health and our education system, we haven't been taught to either. Now, all of the research we have today in regards to gut health and the microbiome is very new in the last 5 to 7 years. And yet, Hippocrates said all disease starts in the gut. And what was that? Like 3,000 years ago or something?
Yeah.
So it blows my mind that he knew that. Exactly. It's taken us a while to catch up, but he's so correct. So first of all, 70% of our immune system is housed in our gut. So in order for our immune system to be healthy, we need our gut to be healthy. And of course, we want our immune system to be healthy because we want that to be fighting the viruses and, bacteria and pathogens that are in our body so that we're not getting sick.
Yeah.
But in regards to our gut health, there's many reasons that cause our gut health to break down. And yes, it's the diet that we're eating. The standard American diet has only 17 of the 90 nutrients we need for a healthy gut.
Wow.
And, the processed food industry started around the 1950s when women went back to work. And of course, I have no problem with women working. And I have no problem with the concept of the food industry at that time to help women get meals on the table for their family after being at work, to speed up that process because they're no longer at home cooking all day, right? So convenience meals. But where we went wrong is when we moved from the being fed by our community and the food we were eating being grown in our community to a food industry that started looking at this from a profit perspective rather than a human health perspective. And going, oh, look at all these people buying these convenience foods. How do I get them to buy more? And how do I make more profit off it? And that's really what it's come down to.
Exactly.
And so there's a lot of sugars and salts in these foods that are savory meals and supposed to be healthy meals in order to trigger that addiction within us and make us want more. There's also a lot of chemicals in those foods to lower the cost of making it. So I know of doctors that will call it frankenfoods. There's
Yeah.
also chemicals in there to extend the shelf life so that they have less wastage if it isn't all sold at the store in time.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the problem that's brought us today is there's a lack of nutrients in the foods that we're buying if we're still buying processed foods. Now, I love to encourage people to buy at the perimeter of your grocery store, which is where you're going to find all the whole food, whole plant-based foods, your veggies, your fruits, and then, the meat section, et cetera, et cetera. And you can be buying fresh and good quality food and stay out of the middle section where you're getting those processed foods and chemicals, et cetera.
Yeah.
But it's not only the lack of nutrients because of buying processed foods, there's also a lack of nutrients because of the soil. So again, the food industry is for profit. They're wanting to feed the planet. So they're, turning those fields more, and the fields aren't getting a chance to rest. And so the nutrients aren't getting a chance to regenerate in the soil. And if they're not in the soil, then they're not in the food.
Mm-hmm.
So interestingly, if we go back to say, my grandmother's era of, the 1930s and 40s, when she was a young adult, she could eat one orange, and the nutrients from that orange, if I was to try and get the same number of nutrients today, I'd need to eat 9 in one sitting, 9 oranges in one sitting. So again, our bodies in today's world have a harder time getting the nutrients that we need, even when we are eating from the outside perimeter of the grocery store. And so even better than that is going to the farmer's market and buying from a farmer that you get to know and asking, what are they doing in terms of field rotation, et cetera, and how are they ensuring that the soil is rejuvenated with nutrients.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that. Not everybody has time for that. So at least start with buying in the perimeter of section of your grocery store.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think too, we're very lucky because we live in British Columbia. So we have access to a lot of those foods that, with farmers, we have farmers markets all the time. And a lot of our grocery stores sell local produce. So we're very fortunate to be able to do that.
Yes.
And one of the things that I hear the most from people is that eating healthy is too expensive.
Yes.
But at what cost?
Well, at what cost? Because when we don't eat healthy, as I said, the environment we create inside our body is the environment that either makes us inhospitable to disease or sends signals to our cells to turn on disease that we are genetically predisposed to. Yeah. Now, here's an interesting fact that, again, we know it's very new from our research on gut health, but 90 to 95% of all disease is triggered by the environment you create inside your body.
Wow.
So it used to be that it was genetic, many of them, right? But now we know it's only 5 to 10% are genetic. And the rest, the 90 to 95%, is you have a genetic predisposition.
Yeah.
However, if you don't turn that environment on inside your body, you don't have to turn on those cells. So I find that really empowering because it means you have a choice. You have a choice in the environment you create inside your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you just first need to A, know that, and B, then know how to do that. And so that's the work that I do with my clients, is the education on all of that and letting people know, because I want people to be able to take action for themselves and create that inhospitable to disease environment inside their body. And then help guide them through that process if they're not sure where to start.
Absolutely. So a question for you, because I know people have asked me this, when they're shifting to a healthier environment, a healthier diet, does that mean they can never go to McDonald's again or Dairy Queen or wherever it is that they go, or have pizza? Because I get to ask that a lot. It's like, well, I can't live without my pizza or my ice cream. And I tell them that no, as long as that's not your main food group. So what do you say to them?
I live by the 80-20 rule. We're all human and we all want to have our little, joy in life, right? And food should be enjoyed as well. So here's the thing that's really fascinating is the 80-20 rule allows you to have 1 to 2 meals a week, unless you're on a very specific healing protocol for a short amount of time, where I do want you to try and follow that as closely as you can. But once you've healed, outside of that, the 80-20 rule works beautifully. So 1 to 2 times a week, right? That you can go and have a pizza, enjoy ice cream, go to McDonald's. But you also will find, as you feel better and as you shift the way you eat, that you are going to make fewer choices for all of those types of food. For instance, I can't remember when I ever went to McDonald's. Like, it's probably 10, 15 years. And I actually have been in this realm of work for 5, right? So even when I was in the corporate world, I was kind of moving away from McDonald's. But I enjoy pizza on occasion. But what my family does is we'll buy the pizza dough fresh and we'll make our own homemade pizza at home. I enjoy ice cream too. I used to have it every single day. Chocolate mint was my favorite flavor. I grew up with that as my dessert.
Yeah.
But now it is a treat. Maybe I have ice cream once a month if it's a hot, sunny day and we pass an ice cream shop and, everyone wants to go for ice cream. I'm not going to say, oh no, I can't have ice cream. If I was on a specific protocol, I might, and that would be okay because, again, that's a choice. But if I'm not, I'm going to have some ice cream. But it's not every day anymore. And I don't miss it because I feel so much better when I eat following the 80-20 rule.
Absolutely.
Overall. Yeah. And I also just want to go back because I realized I didn't answer your other question about it costs more to eat healthy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I want to talk about that in terms of dollars and cents, as well as just not looking at the cost of getting sick and the cost of having disease and lost time and all of that.
Absolutely.
But in terms of dollars and cents, it isn't actually more expensive to eat healthy because, again, going back to the low nutrient value in processed foods and in the Franken foods and McDonald's and other kind of junk food, your body is only getting a short-lived energy.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel hungry again sooner. So you actually end up eating more calories and more frequently when you're eating processed foods than when you are eating well with whole plant-based foods and you have a good balance of protein, a good balance of healthy fats, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because you will feel more satisfied and nourished from that healthy meal, and your brain won't be telling you that you're hungry again in only 2 hours. You will be able to go 3.5 to 4 hours between meals, which is ideal, but many people are eating more frequently than that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes I know a few people that their morning routine is like a whatever those coffees are called from Starbucks or Tim Hortons, and you look at the calorie count of that, and that's almost your whole calorie for one meal. It's like, holy man! So you're having 3 of those a day, you're done.
Yeah, and not to mention the caffeine that's in there and the sugar. And the body treats caffeine and sugar in a very similar way and spikes insulin, which takes us up to the top of the roller coaster where we feel good, we have energy, but then it's not lasting because the body processes it so quickly and there wasn't any good fat or protein or fiber to go with that to help slow down the digestive process. So it just goes through us very quickly. And pretty soon we're down crashing at the bottom of the roller coaster ride with our brain going, I need energy because I either didn't sleep well last night or whatever. I need more. So now it's maybe mid-morning and now we're reaching for a sugary muffin, or maybe it's another cup of coffee, which takes us to the top. We feel good again. And then that might get us through to lunchtime and we eat a good meal then. And then all of a sudden we're crashing and we need something mid-afternoon. And then that gets us through to dinner. And we're just doing this all day long, which is part of the reason why we do have so many people that have become insulin resistant, and children included, that are getting diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And it used to be called adult onset diabetes. But now it's called type 2 diabetes because so many young children are getting diagnosed with this as a result of the food that they're eating and this roller coaster ride and becoming insulin resistant. And the sad thing is, it's not their fault. They're eating what they're being given. And it's not the parents' fault either if the parents have never been educated in this. And that's my frustration, is that our education system and our health industry don't teach this. They instead prefer to teach that you get sick, you go to the doctor, you get given a pill, and that's going to make you better. But it doesn't actually make you better. What they're doing is putting you on medication that you need to be on for life because it's masking your symptoms.
Exactly.
And ultimately, that's what they want.
I have a story about that. Many, many years ago, when my children were in school and I was on the parent advisory, I was asked to go and speak to the junior high. My kids were still in elementary, I think, because they were trying to get the pop machines out of the schools. And so I went there and I did a whole presentation on sugar and how it affects the body and the whole gamut. And it got totally rejected because they get money for sports from having those pop machines in their schools. I was like, what? Like, I had no idea. I had no idea. So we went to this presentation and it was basically like, well, thanks for the information. Bye. You know, it wasn't even heard. Now things are shifting, you know, and my kids, like, they're in their late 30s now, but it's taken that long. And it's just, you know, within the last maybe 5-10 years that they're starting to recognize that. So
yeah,
huge.
My kids are younger, and during my kids' time at school, they did get the pop machines out and they stopped doing bake.
Good.
At one point, they stopped bake sales altogether, and then bake sales kind of came back in, but perhaps less frequently. But, you know, teaching kids about sugar is important. And I do work with families with kids that have learning disabilities and behavioral issues. And part of it is sugar. For my own oldest daughter struggled to process sugar, and her handwriting went backwards, you know, in grade 2, and her attention span went backwards. And her teacher commented on that to me saying, you know, she's not focusing like she used to. Her handwriting's actually getting worse. There's something going on. And so I did some food allergy testing because I'd already been aware of that. And sure enough, it was sugar and yeast. And when I removed that from her diet, it's amazing how quickly the body responds. And her teacher was amazed at the difference. And it's not only sugar. My other daughter struggled with gluten and dairy, and she couldn't function at school. She had such bad stomach aches from eating it because I was feeding it to her because I didn't know. And when we discovered that, of course, I stopped feeding it to her, and she bounced back and could fully participate the whole school day and wasn't putting her head on her desk after lunch. So there's, you know, a lot of labeling happening these days of children and their behavior. And then if you go to, you know, mainstream, they'll often give drugs for ADD or ADHD, et cetera, to control behaviors. But I really invite people to, let's look at what's going on inside that child's gut, because there can be imbalances or food intolerances that are triggering the behavior that when we boost their deficiencies, they might be, you know, deficient in magnesium, in omega-3s, in a variety of different nutrients that they're not getting through their food, as I explained earlier, that is triggering that. And that when we boost them up, that those behaviors go away. Or when we eliminate foods that they're struggling with, those behaviors or those learning issues go away.
Yeah. And we see that so often in the schools. I volunteered with the breakfast program for many, many years, from the time my kids were little until they were adults, you know, until they actually shut it down. I forget how many years ago now. And you could see it. You could see it in the kids. They'd eat certain foods and it was just like, boom, this, blah.
Right.
You know, so it was paying attention to that too.
Right.
And so I want to touch on the 21-day detox, because my youngest son and I are doing the 21-day detox right now. We're starting our second week. This is our second day of just the shakes, so we get to eat tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I have never been a huge fan of cleanses, but this is different because it's an actual detox. And so can you tell us more about that? Because I'm pretty sure you can explain it way better than I can.
Sure. So I want to just step back again to that environment we create inside our body, right?
Absolutely.
And we don't see it, so we don't think about it. And in other cultures around the world, so Ayurvedic medicine, Latin American cultures, Asian cultures, they still detox as part of their culture on a regular basis today.
Mhm.
It's only in the Western world where we've decided that if we clean our outer body in the shower, that's enough to stay healthy. But the reality is it's not, because as I said, the world is the sickest it's ever been. And nobody's really asking why. But at the same time as us being the sickest we've ever been, we know there's over 100,000 man-made chemicals in our environment that we did not have 50 years ago.
It's absolutely.
And what is that doing to our body? We don't see them, so we don't think about them. Very few of those have ever been tested, but the ones have been tested individually. So if you get a little bit of this a few times, you're safe. But it doesn't test if you get a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit more of this and a little bit of that, and you're getting it, 7 days a week.
Yeah,
There's no
every single
testing
day.
done on that, right? And the human body was never designed to deal with the toxic load that we have in our environment today. So we can't avoid them. But what can we do in order to set ourselves up for that body that's inhospitable to disease? We need to get them out. And I liken it to trash cans, overflowing trash cans. And I'm not talking about the ones you put out on the street, but we've all seen overflowing trash cans, right?
Yeah.
That's what your liver and kidneys are looking like these days. And there's so many people with liver issues and kidney issues today because they're overflowing. They're designed to help get the toxins out. But when they get so bogged down with quantities of toxins that they were never designed to deal with, they can't do it. And they're working harder and harder, but they're getting bogged down and it's less effective. So in some cases, they're having to store the toxins inside your body to keep them out of your bloodstream, so they're not getting up to your brain. That means they're storing them in adipose tissue, which is fat, essentially. So nobody wants that, but that's what's happening. So I want to help people empty their trash cans. Because what happens to your trash if you leave it out on the street too long? It starts to smell, to rot, it attracts flies. It's gross, right? You don't want that environment inside your body. So we need to empty them. Well, the best way to empty them is to do a functional medicine liver detox. And why I say functional medicine liver detox is because this detox program comes with specific supplements that help with phase 2 of liver detoxing. Those nutrients the body needs for that function are seriously depleted in our soil and in our food system. So we're just not getting enough of them. Whereas for phase 1, the nutrients needed for that, we tend to get through our food supply. But we need the body to be able to complete phase 1 and phase 2 of liver detox in order to get the toxins out. And the other aspect of it is we need to give our body time to clean house. So this particular program, the first 2 days, as you alluded to, we're not eating. Instead, we're having a meal replacement shake 4 times every 3.5 to 4 hours that has all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that you need in really good quality so that you're not starving, but so that your digestive system can process it really easy without actually doing any work.
Yeah.
And so that then allows your body to take time to clean house. And it's giving it a lot of time to clean house because you're getting, over 48 hours in each week to do this. Plus, we're doing some intermittent fasting overnight as well. So when I say clean house, I literally think of it as we have little cleaners in our body with their brooms coming in and sweeping our entire digestive tract and catching anything that's, congealed to our gut lining and getting it out because it has time to do that deep clean. And what's really interesting that I only learned recently, but that gurgling sound we get in our stomach.
Yes.
We all liken that to, oh, I'm hungry, which, okay, you probably are, because that's an indication that digestion is finished and your cleaners are coming out to do their work. And I really like hearing that sound because I'm like, oh, my cleaners are cleaning up, making me inhospitable to disease. But also, it was an aha because I realized I need to hear that more often. Like, It doesn't mean I'm starving. It just means it's time to eat something, as opposed to it's 12 o'clock, I'm going to eat. It's 3 o'clock, I'm going to have a snack, which is a habit we often get into, especially around work schedules. And instead, I invite people to spread out their eating times to when they're truly hungry. We don't need to just keep putting food in all the time. It's something we're fortunate to be able to do in the first world, but in reality, we're all overeating. And so this detox program gives our body a break from that and allows it to deep clean and get those toxins out.
Yeah.
And another scary fact is that the average cadaver has between 9 and 20 pounds of caked feces in their colon when they die.
Ew.
Yeah. Disgusting.
It is.
So that caked feces is supposed to be, exiting the body and taking toxins with it. But instead, it's getting stuck in the body and not leaving the body. And those toxins are still in the body. And that creates inflammation. And that sends signals to turn on disease.
Exactly.
So I have a quiz that I share with people. And it's called Discover Your Toxic Load. And it's a great eye-opener for people because it goes through many different symptoms of the body that you might have. And it allows you to recognize that these symptoms are not aging. These symptoms are not necessarily seasonal. These symptoms are actually related to the toxins you have in your body. And when we eliminate those toxins, those symptoms are largely alleviated.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Depending on the score, you do either a 3-week, a 2-week, or a 1-week detox. And so when I first did this, I did the 3-week. I wanted to start with that because also I was going to be sharing with clients and wanted to do it myself to be able to guide people through it and know the true experience. But my score started at a 24. And after 3 weeks, I got my score down to a 7.
Wow.
And I do that detox every quarter now, but I do it just for 7 days because, again, we can't avoid the toxins. They're always coming in.
Yeah,
so by doing it every quarter for 7 days, I'm getting a bunch of those toxins right back out. And then monthly, I will do that a 1-day shake fast just to allow those house cleaners to come out and do some more cleaning for me. So that's what I was doing last week when you started your program. The day you started, I was doing my monthly 1-day detox.
So here's my experience with it. Both my son and I are doing this cleanse together. And the first 2 days of just the shakes was actually pretty easy. And I found when my tummy was gurgling or I felt like I might be hungry, I would have a cup of hot water and that seemed to alleviate it. So the first 2 days were actually, I'm going to say pretty easy because I didn't think they were going to be that easy. I honestly didn't. And then the days that we could eat, the food, oh my God, we had the most amazing meals. It was awesome. And it's funny because the cookbook that I used was one I use quite frequently when we eat anyway, but we had to alter a few of the recipes to fit the program. And oh man, the food we ate, even my husband, he ate with us and he loved it. And he's really easy. He's so supportive when I'm on these things because I won't cook a separate meal for him. So he'll just eat what we eat. And yeah, he's quite happy. As long as it tastes good, he's happy. And we're on our second 2-day of just shakes. So tomorrow we'll get to eat again. And these 2 days have just gone, they've just flown by. I wasn't feeling very good yesterday for a little bit, but I got over that and now we're moving on. And today is day 2 of that. And then we'll get to eat. And then we have one more week after that. So I would highly recommend it to anybody because it is easy and it's not, how can I say this? You're not stuck. Like if you want to have something to eat, because my son works out in the bush, so he did have to actually have some stuff, but he had some healthy. He had chickpeas and artichokes and he was fine. That's all he had to do. And that was on his 2-day cleanse. And then he was good. So it's super easy to follow. It's not hugely restrictive where, you can't do this and you can't do that. That's what I found I liked about it, because then you beat yourself up and you think you failed.
Right. And you get
Right?
into deprival mode because you feel like, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that. And really, it's about a
Exactly.
mindset is I get to have this. I get to do this for my body. I want to be here for my family. I want to do all these things in the world. I want to make sure my body's inhospitable to disease, right?
Yeah,
And the list of
exactly.
foods that you can eat allows for so much variety in the meals that you prepare. And I share recipes with everyone. But as you said, you had a cookbook that you like, and you just adapted recipes that you
Yeah.
already knew in order to work within what you can be eating on this program.
Yeah.
And some of the meals that I created for this program the very first time I did it, I still make even when I'm not on the program, because as you say, they are so delicious. And,
Oh, they are.
it's a really healthy way to feed our body.
Yeah.
And
Recreate your sliders.
it's a great, great program. I have never had a client not like it.
Yeah.
Every single client I have has absolutely loved this program. Some do struggle in the first couple of days. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's a mindset shift. And with the determination of that mindset shift to get through those first 2 days,
Yeah.
it's completely doable because you're not left starving, right? If
Yeah.
I couldn't eat, like literally couldn't eat for 2 days, then I wouldn't probably get through it, right? I have a fairly quick metabolism and my body wants food and I like food. But
Yeah.
the shakes are a really high quality shake. I source them out of the US. I have tried sourcing in Canada as well to find something similar. I've looked at a number of different shakes because it's more than a protein shake. It is a meal replacement shake. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. I've looked at Arbonne shakes. I've looked at Shaklee shakes. I've looked at Herbalife shakes. I've looked at other shakes through some supplement companies. And in every single case, the ingredient amounts, other than the protein, is about the same or maybe slightly more than the detox shake.
Yeah.
Everything else is at only 10% of the quantity of what this particular detox shake includes.
Wow.
And so I get that because they're making a shake that somebody might have for breakfast, and then they're going to have other meals through the day. But for me, I'm not willing to sacrifice on the quality that my clients get. And because for 2 days each week, you're just having the shake, I want to know that you're getting the other 90% of all of those vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that the body needs so that you're not hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's huge. I will say this too, after the very first day, like the first night, I slept like a baby, and I normally don't have trouble sleeping, but I had such a deep, restful sleep. It was unbelievable. And when I got up in the morning, usually my feet and my ankles will feel stiff and sore, and it takes me a bit, even if I'm sitting in a chair. I got up and I bounced out of bed, and I got halfway to the door and I went, wait a minute, nothing hurt. Nothing. And that was after the first day.
Yeah.
So that was it. I was told.
And that's amazing that you had such rapid response. I would say generally people start to notice improvement somewhere between days 3 and 5. So to notice it the first day is really, really quick. But within that first week, I will guarantee 100% of the people will be noticing some level of improvement, whether it be to their sleep, whether it be to their aches and pains because of reduced inflammation, whether it to be just how their gut feels. I had a lady who's had chronic gut issues for years, been to every doctor under the sun, can't figure out what's going on. And she messaged me after day 3 and said, oh my God, I haven't had any gut issues for 3 days. That's unheard of for me.
That's awesome.
So so it's great to just empty those trash cans, get all of it out. And then if there's other health issues that you want to be working on, then we can address those. And any protocol of supplements or herbal remedies that we implement once the detox is over are going to be that much more effective because it's actually getting to the cells that need them, as opposed to that overflowing trash can and just going in and just bouncing down the sides and not getting into the cells, and it's just getting flushed through.
Absolutely.
So,
this is amazing. Thank you so much. And I've got so much energy. It's like ridiculous.
I love it.
It's awesome. I mean, and I always thought I was the Energizer Bunny, but this is good energy. It's a different energy.
Yes.
So it's 11:05. So we've been on for about half an hour. So Melissa, I've got your website in the comments bar here, and it's betterbrainhealth.info, correct?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
And I will share that with everybody now, hopefully. Okay, there we
And
go.
what I can do is in the chat, I'll just drop in the link to the toxic load quiz.
Awesome. Yes,
Give me
please do
1
that.
second and I will do that here. And so then anybody that wants to discover their toxic load and see what's going on can do that quiz. And they can then email me, and I'll type this in if I could spell properly, melissa@betterbrainhealth.info. They can email me their score.
Awesome.
And if they'd like to know more about the detox program, they can also go to my website and click on the Work With Me tab and book a complimentary 30-minute consultation. And I can get them going on getting the toxins out and creating that inhospitable environment so that they can go out and live life fully and do whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing in this world today, sharing their story and their message.
Yeah. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for doing this today. It's been awesome. This kind of conversation really gets my juices flowing. I love it because it's so important. And I've been on a health journey pretty much most of my life because of being so sick when I was a child. And I'll tell you, I was starting to experience little things, and I want to nip them in the bud before they get any further. So with your help, that's what we're doing. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Melissa, for being here and taking your time to talk to us today. And if you have any questions, you can either message me or you can directly get a hold of Melissa through her website.
And thank you very much for having me. And I just want to finish with one little thing that you just said is you're listening to your body. I like to invite people to listen when your body whispers so it doesn't have to yell at you.
Absolutely. I love that. Awesome.
So,
okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank you so much
Have
for being here.
Have a wonderful day.
We'll chat again. Bye.
Bye.